standing and doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag in the back corner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And just as we go through our meeting, we'll keep in mind that our mission and priorities are to center around academic excellence, recruiting and retaining quality staff, managing our resources, and having good community relations. Laura, please roll call and establish a quorum.
Dominic, it's gone. Fields, here.
Here.
Fisher.
She's
Oh.
virtual. She might just have like a tiny little bit of a
I did not
lag.
know she was
Okay.
okay.
Here.
McConnell,
Here.
Silva.
And you got my here?
Yep, we got you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
have one quick request. When people are speaking in the audience, if they could just say their name, just to make sure I know who's speaking, that would be appreciated.
Okay, thank you. That's a good idea.
Supposed to do that anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, please call the roll.
Dominic,
Aye.
Fields. Aye. Fisher.
Aye.
McConnell.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. Okay. Now is the time in our agenda for the open forum. Is there anybody here that would like to speak on open forum? All right, moving right along then to our consent items. Any questions or comments on any of those? Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent items as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by John. Please call the roll.
Fields. Aye. Fisher.
Aye.
Dominic,
Aye.
McConnell.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. Okay, moving on to old business, we have the second readings of 4 board policies. Any updates or questions or anything on that? These are the same, no changes from last month.
Can we approve all 4 of them?
Yep.
Right. I move to approve the second reading of the 4 board policies listed in the agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Dominic,
Aye.
McConnell.
Aye.
Fields. Aye. Fisher.
Aye.
Silva.
Okay, moving on to reports and correspondence. We start off with the superintendent's report.
Good. Well, I have a larger audience before we do our staff and student recognition. I just want to bring everybody's attention to something that we have coming up on November 7th. It's going to be on our election, which is our voter-approved PEPL. So our PEPL is our physical plant and equipment levy. It's something that we are asking our voters to renew along with our income surtax, which is on the second slide. We use these funds. So all the technology that you see around us, that was all used from this particular fund. So our current levy and surtax expires at the end of 2024. So we're asking our voters to renew this existing fund source for another 10 years. One thing can you go back, thanks. So one thing I want to make sure is that, this is nothing new. We have had this in place for the last 10 years, and we're just simply asking our voters to renew it. It doesn't cause an increase in taxes. In fact, at our last board meeting, I made a statement that we would not increase taxes or not increase this levy for our public. So as I said, the PEPL is an acronym for Physical Plant and Equipment Levy, and it's made up of 2 different sources, which is our property taxes and our income surtax. It allows our school district to purchase non-instructional software, maintenance and equipment for schools, transportation needs, such as our buses, and then again, like I pointed out, all of our technology that we have up here. So our current rate is $1 per thousand of assessed property tax, and for this school year, that generated about $750,000 worth of funding for us. The next slide, this shows you all the pipelines that go to actually fund our schools. It is equally as confusing as it looks, and it is very challenging to really kind of get a hold on it. But you can see the pipelines that go into the PEPL, which is that third one down, technically third one down, which is there. It's funded by property taxes and an income surtax. Okay. Again, there's kind of like 5 big uses for it, which is buildings and grounds improvement and repairs, equipment, buses, vehicles, and technology. We tend to stay away from leases as we find that's never been cost effective for us long term. The next slide will show us our overall tax rate history that we've had here in Greene County. You'll notice that in 2019, there's obviously a big spike, and that would have been when we passed the general obligation bond to build the high school and complete some other repairs and projects around the district. And then there's been a slow stair step as we have decreased that overall tax rate. That's something that our school board and our school district has remained committed to. And then our next slide shows us just kind of the overall history of our voter PEPL from 2017 through this current year. The bars more on the left side show what we can approve up to a maximum. It's $1.34. The median there indicates that's for the entire state of Iowa, and there are actually a couple of districts that are able to go without. How they're able to do that is probably by miracle somehow. But that's kind of the history. So we average right around about 98 cents per thousand. So in this particular levy. Here are a number of different things that we've used these funds for just in the last 3 years. So if you've ever been to a football game and looked at the scoreboard, that was all purchased. That was PEPL funds there. You'll notice that large crown that's out of the middle of the football field, we use PEPL funds for that too. We think about all the touchscreen displays, students with your Chromebooks, anything that you have technology in your classrooms. Again, that's all purchased through this fund. One of the things I know Laura would really emphasize, especially right now as we're being audited, is the non-instructional software, all the accounting software that we have to have. The Infinite Campus that we use for our attendance, for our student records, again, that's all PEPL. That's all where that comes from. So that's why this is a really important thing for our kids and then for our school as well. So of course, any vote can fail. We do need a simple majority for it. It's 50% plus one. If it should fail, we will get another attempt at a vote in March of 2024. But if it should fail, then again, we would have to then shift those funds back to our general fund, which our general fund is where we pay for all of our day-to-day operations of our school district. It includes staff salaries and benefits. No, that doesn't mean your teachers won't get paid. It just means that things might get a little bit more tight. We might have to say no to a lot more things as budgets can be really fragile, especially right now. And if our budget gets a little too low, maybe even dip into the negative, which has happened to this school district before, we have to submit a corrective plan of action to the State Budget Review Committee, which is not as fun as it sounds. So again, our commitment over the past 5 years, what we've done is we've reduced our overall property tax burden on our families. We're spending appropriately. We're offering really competitive wages and quality benefits to our teachers and staff. And we provide some really excellent facilities for a 3A school. And over the next 10 years, you'll notice that our commitments remain the same, those same 4 things. Second and last thing here, I just really want to repoint this back out again. We're asking for it to be renewed for the next 10 years. It's nothing new. It's not a new levy. It's not a new surtax, and we're not increasing tax rates because of it. And the last thing I'll just point out really quickly, if you want to hear more, especially from our possibly incoming school board members, Jefferson Rotary is hosting a public forum for upcoming school board candidates Monday, October 30th. It is not trick or treat night. That is the next night. So you can still have, it's at 7 p.m. It's in our elementary school cafeteria. I'll share some more information about our voter approved PEPL there as well. And then just another reminder that our school and city vote is Tuesday, November 7th. All right, I will stop talking for just a minute and turn it over to our principals for student and staff recognition. You got elementary.
I do,
So,
so I'm
Mrs.
filling in for Mrs. High Note
I'll let you
tonight.
take it from there also.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Mrs. Sandberg, and I am the Director of Teaching and Learning, Director of Special Programs for our system. And Mrs. High Note couldn't be here tonight, so she asked me to fill in and recognize. So the first guy that's gonna be recognized is Wyatt. You wanna come up here, please? Wyatt Christensen, his parents are Randy and Jenny Christensen, and he's in Mrs. Smith's second grade class. And when you were nominated, they said Wyatt is always offering to help his teacher and his classmates with tasks or work that needs to be done. He uses his manners when he's speaking with adults and his peers by always saying please and thank you. He does a great job following all the school expectations, and he was nominated by staff members to be recognized for your respectful behavior during the month of September. Nice job. Thank you. So the next one is Maria Boyd for you. Maria's parents are Luke and Dina Boyd, and she's in Mrs. Ort's kindergarten class. Maria takes great pride in her work. She's a problem solver, and she's always a great friend to others. She's a hard worker. She takes pride in everything she does, and she is a very reliable student. She was also recognized for her respectful behavior during the month of September. We've got a couple of staff members. First of all, Rhonda Baker, join me. Rhonda has given 20 years to our school district. She was a special education paraeducator, then an elementary special education teacher, and now she teaches kindergarten. When she was nominated, this is what was said. Rhonda is always helping others do what is best for students, and she never loses sight of her why. She is reflective, compassionate, and a leader, both in her classroom and to her colleagues. Rhonda is a team player and always willing to help out, whether it's a student or an adult. She's a creative problem solver and will continue to try new and different methods to help students learn and show mastery of their skills. And finally, Mike Birrell. Is he here tonight? Come on up. So Mike's been with the district 5 years, and when he was nominated, here's what they said. Mike always greets everyone that is getting on the bus. He has conversations with the students and the staff. A student came to class and said that her morning was the best because Mike is always happy and makes me have a great bus ride. When he drives for games, the athletes get excited and say, "Yay, it's Mike." He has such a positive attitude, and that is great to see for our students in the mornings, as he is one of the first people that our students see. And for games, as the driver, he always tells athletes what a great game they had and how fun it was to watch them. So that ends their night. Thank you, Mike, for going above and beyond for our students and our staff.
Hello, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Kara Osborne. I'm the middle school principal. So tonight I have Karen Johnston. All right, Karen is a 5th grader at Greene County Middle School, the daughter of Jeremy and Ashley Johnston. She is being recognized by her teachers this month for always doing what she's supposed to be doing. She works hard to learn, actively participates in class, and is always willing to be helpful to others. She is kind to all her peers and always willing to help out when needed. Karen takes her learning seriously by asking questions and listening for understanding during class discussions. Her positive attitude shines bright in all that she does. Keep up the great work, Karen. I have Gage Derry here. He's an 8th grader at Greene County Middle School, the son of Adam and Kelly Derry. Gage is a member of our middle school football team and is actively involved in other school activities. Gage is always willing to go out of his way to help others. He is kind and respectful to his peers and teachers and is always striving to do his best. Gage works hard in and out of the classroom to make good choices and hold himself accountable and responsible for his actions. Gage is a true role model for Greene County Middle School students, and we couldn't be more proud of him. Keep up the great work, Gage. We can't wait to see what your future holds as a Greene County Ram. And then I have two staff here tonight. I have Nikki Townsley. Nikki was nominated by her staff members, and this is what they had to say. Nikki Townsley, an associate at Greene County Middle School, was recognized by her colleagues this month for being a valuable member of the Greene County Middle School staff. Nikki goes above and beyond to help students and staff by always having their best interest at heart. Nikki has a natural ability to read situations and make the best choice given the direct circumstance or situation. She holds students accountable for meeting and exceeding school expectations by developing trusting relationships with the students she serves. Nikki is always willing to help out whenever a need arises, making her an asset to our team. Thank you, Nikki, for all that you do for Greene County Middle School. And I have Miss Connie Hoffman. Connie is our title reading teacher at Greene County Middle School. And Connie, you were nominated by several staff members, and this is what they had to say. Connie was recognized by her colleagues this month for being an outstanding asset to Greene County Middle School faculty. Her coworkers said the following about her, and I couldn't agree more. Connie is a team player who works very hard every day to meet kids where they are and take them to where they need to be. She holds kids accountable to school expectations and makes learning fun by tailoring instruction to meet the needs of every student she serves. Connie's positive personality, coupled with her wealth of knowledge, makes her a great problem solver and teammate. Connie is always willing to adapt and adjust to whatever the situation brings. Connie is respected by the students and staff she works with daily. Thank you, Connie, for going above and beyond.
And I am Karen Shannon. I have two students. I actually changed the way that we're recognizing students. Our students in the month at the high school have just been a junior and a senior at historically. And I just felt like that really could use some expansion because we have kids in all grades doing really great things. So we had our teachers just give out names of students that they felt were displaying good character, were being good role models, were working hard in and outside of the classroom. And they gave several students names, and then those were voted upon as a staff. And then I chose the top two vote getters as the two individuals that are going to be recognized here tonight. One of them is running right now at the cross country meet. Her name is Becca Anderson. So here's Becca on the screen. Becca is a sophomore at Greene County High School, and she is the daughter of Brenda and Barry Anderson. Here's a few words that her teachers had to say about her and coaches. Becca's quiet leadership has impressed me greatly over the first 9 weeks of school. Although she is new to Greene County High School, she works well with all students and does not hesitate to help any student who may need some additional guidance. She is a great addition to our school, and I'm excited to see how she grows into a leadership role over the next 3 years. Becca is one of those students who is always doing what she needs to, even when no one is watching. She jumped right into being a Ram this year. She gracefully balances academics, running cross country, playing volleyball, and being involved in different clubs at the high school. Her calm willingness to learn and drive to succeed made her a coachable and great teammate this season. Becca is a quiet but steady presence in the classroom. She is conscientious, hardworking, and respectful to everyone. So we will give Becca a round of applause. So Camden, can I have you come on up? And Camden is a junior at Greene County High School, and his parents are Kyle and Amanda Kinney. Camden is one of those students who is always doing what he needs to do, even when no one is looking. He is always in class and on task, asking questions, and willing to help a classmate when in need. He has the drive to do well and shows it in whatever he is involved in. He is respectful and always willing to lend a hand. He is kind to classmates and staff, considerate of others and their needs and interests, offers service to help in the classroom. He is calm and collected, asks questions to learn beyond the essential material, conscientious, and is organized. I've always been impressed by Camden's passion for learning. He is he is unashamed about wanting to do well in class, and he does not let his peers distract him of that goal. Good job. They kind of work hard at that. Students like Camden make teaching easy and enjoyable. He is a great role model and what we want our students at Greene County High School to look like. Camden is a young man of integrity who always leads by example. His work ethic is second to none, and he is also treats his coaches, teachers, and classmates with respect. All right, and I've got my two staff members. All right, first, Mr. Chad Morton, come on up. Chad. All right, Chad has coached and taught at Greene County schools for 22 years. When I asked him today how long he had been with us, he sent me the emoji of an old man in a walker. So he teaches special education and he serves, correct me if I'm wrong, 17 students between the two teachers in behavior and math. Is that about right?
Sure.
And something that I've just been really impressed with is that the relationships that Chad builds with students. And he creates this relationship that just serves as a great foundation for the good work that they do together to help his students meet their goals. He helps the students here at the high school really see this as their final step of becoming successful adults in society, and he does all that he can to help them reach their goals. He connects with families and provides this perfect balance of humor and information and personality to IEP meetings that can kind of sometimes be stuffy, and he just does a really great job with that. So thank you, Mr. Morton, for everything that you do, your service to students, and just being a positive member of our staff. Thank you. And last but not least, Mrs. Emily Van Ekman, come on up. And I checked this on Infinite Campus. Have you been here since 2018? Does that sound right? Okay. So Mrs. Van Ekman has been here at Greene County High School since 2018. She teaches biology and anatomy and physiology. I have only been in the building for a short 9 weeks with staff members, but it has just become evident to me that Emily has a passion for her content, and she has an equal passion for getting kids, even if she's not, there may not be super interested in science, but she wants them to enjoy their time while she's there with her. I love when I walk into that room or by that room and they are doing things with their hands and they're engaged, and I saw them with pieces of paper cut out, and I'm like, I just love seeing kids doing things and being engaged, and she just truly wants to help kids learn. So Emily really cares about our students, and she herself is a lifelong learner. You're always eager to just want to keep learning. And and I see you as a great communicator, and I don't know if you see yourself as a leader, but I do. So thank you so much.
And this is the moment where we take just a brief we're in here all enough to go
Yeah,
ahead and
right.
resume. And so we're gonna continue to move forward here on board committee reports. Does anybody have any reports?
Okay,
Yes.
we're gonna do, there's one more thing there before we get into.
Oh,
committees.
we're gonna sneak back into the
Oh, yeah.
superintendent's report.
So we're gonna have, each of our principals are going to do some fall data reporting on their map results, and then also kind of a little bit on their school improvement plans. Before we jump in a little bit. So we start with our
So
elementary.
I'm Audrey 2.0 again. And this is gonna be a summary of the data at the elementary for this fall. So this table shows our goal for kids is to graduate with a diploma and one other certificate or credential when they graduate. And so the way that we're monitoring that at the elementary level is making sure that kids are hitting the 41st percentile to be proficient on our MAP test, which we give 3 times per year in both math and reading. And then because we know attendance is really important for being able to meet expectations at school, we are also tracking attendance, trying to make sure that we have our students missing less than 10% of the days. So right now, based on the data that we have for the elementary, you'll notice the number in parentheses behind each grade level on the left side of the chart. That's the total number of kids that are in the grade level. And then in each column, math, reading, and attendance, that is the number of kids that are hitting the mark in those areas. So for example, kindergarten, 67 out of the 93 kids hit the 41st percentile for math in the fall MAP test. So that was 72%. So across the board, 60% of our kindergartners right now are on track to hit our overall district goal of having kids graduate with a diploma plus one other certificate or credential. This is another way to look at that data. What we did here was break it down and look at all kids in the building, and then figured out how many of these kids are meeting all 3. So the top row, they're meeting reading, math, and the attendance goal. And then the red boxes are weighted in. So the second row is kids that aren't hitting any of those. And then leadership team has been meeting and having some conversations about that and trying to utilize some resources to help us put interventions in place, either for academics or for the attendance piece, to hit our overall goal on the elementary school improvement plan, which is the elementary plan has 2 separate kind of legs of their school improvement plan. One to focus on math or academics, and then one to focus on attendance. So this first slide talks about the things that they're doing to hit their goals for 70% of students to be proficient on the map when they take it this May, and 100% of our kids actually making growth on that assessment from fall to spring throughout the 23-24 school year. And so in order to do that, they've put some things in place as far as the teachers. They're meeting in PLC teams that they have, that stands for professional learning communities. Sometimes I forget I speak in acronyms. And they meet and look at the data on an ongoing basis, adjust, move kids around, do what they need to do. So they're constantly talking about the data. They're also helping the kiddos look at their data and set goals. So kids are excited about taking the test and trying to do better. They're now implementing praise walks for staff, going in and seeing what each other are doing and providing some positive feedback related to that, and working to develop a multi-tiered system of supports, which is what MTSS stands for. Leadership moves, so the things that Audrey is doing or decisions that she's making to help all of these things happen is she attends those weekly meetings, map data analysis with the staff, monitoring those classroom assessment data. We've also taken on this letters training this year, and that actually stands for an acronym too, and I don't remember all the words, but it's basically science of reading and how our brains learn to read. So all elementary teachers and some middle school special ed and title teachers are also taking that this year to really learn about how kids do develop their skill of reading and get better at that so that we can more appropriately respond. And she's reporting that progress on the goals to the staff and families at least 3 months or 3 times a year. And she is trying to model those praise walks so that everybody kind of knows how to do that. On the attendance side, the goal for the building is that 5% or fewer of the students will be considered chronically absent, and 100% of the students at the elementary will have at least one adult that they identify as being somebody that they can trust at school. So in order to do that, they've created an infographic about all this and the importance of attendance, and they've distributed that both through the building and to families. They've researched what some barriers are that might cause that chronic absenteeism and collected data from parents at conferences about what are some things that might be causing them to have their children miss more. Obviously, we can't avoid sickness, but if there are some other barriers in place and there's something that we can do as a school building, we want to be able to do that. And then create interventions to address those attendance barriers. And then the leadership move she's taking is she's got a team of teachers that the specials teachers, so art, music, PE, things like that, that don't necessarily teach math and reading. They're actually focusing on the attendance data this year. So they get together weekly and look at that, where they are, and be able to communicate to the other teachers about what's going on with that. Then she also moved conferences up this year to be able to communicate with parents earlier in the year. So we've already had conferences where in the past we wouldn't have conferences until like the first week in November. They're working with the school improvement facilitator from the AEA, Area Education Agency, to work on developing that multi-tiered system of support. So how are we going to put some interventions in place for all of these things? She's implemented an automatic calling system. So when students are absent, then a call automatically goes out to their parents. And they've been using lots of media resources to raise awareness of the importance of that positive attendance. Questions? No? All right.
All right, so mine is similar. Again, Kara Osborne, middle school principal. You can go to the next one. So our data is shared out the same way as Karen just did for the elementary. Kind of looking at some eye-popping things that kind of raised some questions for my team was looking at that 6th grade math. It is a little bit lower compared to everything else, but we are on a targeted ESSA plan through the state, and we're working through that, and that was targeted specifically for math and our students with IEPs. And so that has already been a target for us in some of the structures and things that we're doing to help raise awareness for those. But overall, we have 338 kids that tested. We only did not test about 12 kids total. And so we were able to get all of ours made up and everything. So overall, data is not looking not bad. Go ahead. So again, looking at this one, so we have 123 of our 338 kids that are on track in every area. Some of the stuff that kind of popped out to me was the 28 that are all no. So what can we do to get them here? What can we do to help them get proficient? There are some things that we do have in place for attendance to get them here and keep them moving. The 21, the other big one for me that raised some questions was the 21 that they're proficient in reading, they're proficient in math, but they're not here. So who are those kids? What are we doing to specifically target those kiddos? Can we grow them? All those, and how are we going to get them here if they're not already here, but yet they're still proficient? And so who are they? What are we doing? And then the last one that really raised some questions for me were the no in reading, no in math, and yes in attendance. So it's 81 students that are not proficient right now, but they're here every day. So 30%, so roughly 24 of those students are identified with an IEP. So again, that targets our ESSA plan of those kiddos. And so what are we doing strategically to help grow those students? And then we're targeting our tier 1 instruction, because if they're not proficient, but they're here, what are we doing to help them? So, and then 67, we have about 20% are on the chronic absenteeism list. And so, we're close to that district goal of 10%, but just a little bit over. So looking at some of our moves that we're gonna do to help make sure we get that. So aligned with our school improvement plan on the next slide, both of the first two, the 1 and 2 are both they're similar, they're the same, but one is for reading and one is for math. Wanting to get to 60%, ideally we'd love to have 80%, but we're gonna really track to get 60%, we're close, with 100% of our students showing growth. Both math and reading. And so what we've done is we've implemented a specific non-negotiable weekly PLC time that I am directly involved in along with my coach. Within that, we're identifying those essential understandings, making sure that they're aligned to the Iowa core standards. But then the big piece of number 4 is unpacking those standards to identify the key skills and concepts. So we have the standards. What are those essential key skills and concepts that we need to teach to make sure that we are getting to proficiency? So we're spending a lot of time there and creating and aligning common unit assessments to monitor and then monitoring that and tracking that data with our teams. The other part of our school improvement plan is behavior. So elementary did attendance. We were not as, ours was a little bit better. So we went with behavior. So reducing our behaviors by 10% during the identified high incidence times. We've identified that from lunch, the first lunch at 10:55 until the last recess, till the last lunch and recess, it's about 12:52. So it's about, just about the little chunk of time. That's when our high frequent flyers are. That's when most of our behaviors happen. And so what can we do to reduce that by 10% each quarter? We've put in some that we have Swiss. It's a program that tracks our data. So we're reviewing that bi-monthly with our PBIS team. We are reteaching PBIS school-wide behavior expectations, not only to our students, but is it a staff thing that we're not holding our students accountable for those expectations? So we're reteaching those as my PBIS team sees fit, and then increasing that parent communication of minor behavior referrals. So if it's going into Swiss as a minor, it is required that they are calling parents so that we have parent communication to help curb some of those behaviors. And then the things that I'm doing specifically to help with all of that is implementing data review teams. That was something that I took feedback from my staff, is we really want time built in so that all of us can look at it together, not just individual teams, but a grade level team, and tie in behavior and instruction and how are all those things correlated. And then reviewing schools' intervention structures with our school improvement facilitator and making changes to math and reading interventions to improve student achievement. So again, working with the AEA school improvement, we're really trying to get our MTSS structures and processes very, very aligned and very structured. And then we've purposefully added some special education, general education collaboration time centered around accommodations, modification, differentiation. So what are my core teachers doing to help modify, differentiate, and accommodate for our students with identified IEPs, and every student? Weekly attendance and tardy audits with follow-up communication to create plans for students to be in attendance and aligned with our district goals. So we have those same automated calls that go out. We are also pulling a weekly report to verify students that are hitting some of those 3, 6, 9, 12, having plan meetings. And that goes with our tardies too. We're pulling tardy reports and really holding students accountable, trying to figure out why we're not making it, where we need to make it, and putting in some things to make them so that they're in the seat learning the most they can. And then again, that Swiss program, that the implementation to track behavior frequency, time, location, who the student is, and increase that parent communication is what we are doing at the middle school.
I think just comment that don't be scared to keep sharing information, even if it's not where we want it to be, because we know, I mean, like Karen said, it's been 9 weeks, so it's been 9 weeks for you too.
Yeah.
So look forward to hearing the next one.
Yes, yes.
I think that means you're up, Karen.
Yeah, and so it's kind of a lot of the same. I mean, I hate to say that, but, so our data looks a little bit different, somewhat. First, because 12th graders don't take math, and so we don't have the reading and the math data. And then also, we didn't necessarily, we found out about 3 o'clock, Brent and Emily found out about 3 o'clock. There's on the what we were pulling our reports from, the 5-star, didn't have all of our new students to this school year in. So all the reports, and this has been true with the other buildings, it didn't have new students. So that's why there's a discrepancy on our attendance and the number. So the 49 out of 79 on 9th grade, 62% of them are at that 41st percentile, which means at proficiency. So that's why there's a discrepancy between how many kids were tested and our attendance, because we didn't have all the data. So I didn't have enough time between 3 and 5:15 to fix that. But anyway, I used the numbers on track. Again, for someone to say that they're going to be on track to get their diploma and one more credential, we really want to say that they can read proficiently, that they're able to be proficient in math, and that they're attending at least 90% of the time. And I don't know about if you guys know that, but that chronic absenteeism is something that the state determines, that 90% of the time, if they're gone, and that really equates to about 2 days a month or a little less is all they can miss. So, and then I also thought it's important for you to know that we have the alternative school or the HOHA program, and we have 12 of the 16 are chronically absent. And that has to be in our attendance data, which, some are like, well, man, that really stinks. But actually, I look at it as, I'm just glad those kids are there and they're not dropping out, because we want those kids to graduate. And that's what's best for them. So I'd rather take a hit on our attendance data, because that program is allowing kids to graduate. So this year, the alternative school did take MAP. They were not required to do that last year, but I asked that they do that. And again, seniors don't do that. So 6 of the 7 that were eligible did take them, and half of them were proficient in both math and reading. So again, this look here of the 244 kids that were assessed on math and reading, 128 were on track. That I was super impressed by that first line, actually. 128 of the 244 are on track all the way across. Again, like Kara had pointed out, the ones that kind of make me raise my eyebrow a little bit, the ones that are achieving in reading and math and not here, so that 18, it makes me wonder what things are happening to extend those kids. How are we making sure that kids that are intending are still being challenged? It also makes me wonder, are those kids that are proficient in math and reading, I'm really curious, are those kids have behaviors? Because a lot of times those kids that are high achieving, they might become a behavior in the classroom if they're bored. So this information could really be helpful to determine, are we making sure that they're engaged in academics that's challenging to all kids? 41 there towards the bottom, the kids that are attending every day and still not getting it. I think we have around 42 kids with IEPs at the high school. So that could be part of it, but those are also some behavior IEPs. But anyway, it was really great for me to dig into that, those numbers, and just really makes me peruse through and kind of ask some questions. And our building leadership team will also be looking at that to kind of move through that a little bit more. So we have 3 goals as a building. One is around attendance. So last year we had, as Brett said this morning at Kiwanis, we were leading in a way that we don't want to lead in chronic absenteeism. Our high school, 33% of our high schoolers were chronically absent. Last year we cut that by 11%, so that was good. And we thought, well, let's see if we can do that again. So let's cut that by another 10%. So that would put us at about 90% of Greene County high school students attending 90% of the time. So that's what we're shooting for. And academic goals, again, attached to MAP data. Our math is actually really looking pretty solid. We're really focusing on growth. So like when you take that assessment, kids that maybe they're not proficient, but they're growing. And some kids, if they do struggle but they're making constant progress, we want to celebrate that too. And that's a really good thing for them, is that they're growing and they're going in the right direction. So we're looking at 80% of our students to meet the projected math growth. So that means there's a formula that MAP creates that tells you how much should you grow based on your score that you got, how much should you grow by the next time. And so we're hoping 80% of students will do that in math, and then all kids will show some growth. Similarly, in reading, that number is lower. It's 60% because right now our the data that we got from fall didn't have us quite as high in reading, so it was around 50% or 54% proficient, or showed that projected growth, and so we're looking at getting it to 60, and again, 100% of students showing growth, some growth. So we've been doing a lot of things that you've already heard as far as the automated calls. We've been enforcing attendance policies, and we've restricted open campus. Actually, I didn't restrict it. I actually just enforced what was there. I didn't actually change open campus. In fact, I made it, the form that was there required a 3-point GPA, 3.0. I lowered it to a 2.5. So I'm like, you can get scholarships with a 2.5 GPA. How about we allow kids to, anyway. So we do, every 3 weeks, we do grade checks. If they are not 90, or if they're chronically absent or they don't have a 2.5 GPA, they don't have open campus. And that's for seniors only for now. Just making sure that we're communicating. We have developed a developed a response team. Remarkably, we have students that come to school, but they don't go to class. They like congregate somewhere. So we have a search team now. So we have a process. Kids in the room, you know what I'm talking about, right? So we have like a SWAT team, and we are able to find them and help them get back to class. And we're just doing a really targeted, intensive, like we're hoping it's just like 2 or 3 weeks, just to help kids realize that we want you here, but we also want you in class, because you're not learning if you're in the bathroom or if you're somewhere you're not supposed to be. So we've got that, and that's helping hopefully with attendance. Academic goals, we're really working through the whole professional learning process. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute, but students setting goals for themselves and some action steps. We have peer tutoring. Because our school calendar had to change a little bit and our day had to change this year, we had to get rid of the time called seminar. So we don't have time right now built in for interventions. So we've added Monday afternoons on early outs for some tutoring in the Success Center. So on to the next one. So as far as what the moves I've been making, so change is hard. Change is tough. So high reliability schools, we're at that very first foundational level, which is safe, supportive, and collaborative culture. And it's where I'm really living right now. And it's making sure that our students and our staff feel like they're in a safe and trusted, supportive environment. And some of those things is just making sure that when they come to school, they know the expectations, they know they're going to be enforced, teachers know their expectations, they know what is going to happen, and that we trust one another, and that they can just know of some consistencies, and that we just hope that we just have some camaraderie and some positive culture going. So we've been spending a lot of time in that because change is hard, and there's been change and there's more change coming. Talked a little bit about, I've been meeting weekly with Emily Gannon and really combing through that attendance and that response team, and keeping that communication lines open with teachers and families about those. Academically, I'll just say 9 weeks, professional learning communities. I'll just be really honest, at the high school level, it's always felt kind of like you're doing a square peg in a round hole. It's kind of been forced. And what I don't want to do is to have teachers do something to check a box. I want it to be really valuable to them, and I want it to be valuable for kids. And we are learning right now, and we are learning how to do that. But I am not going to have them do something for the sake of saying they're doing it and not feeling as though it's valuable. So we're really peeling back the layers of what we need to learn, and that takes time. So we're learning about essential standards. We're peeling back things that we are realizing. And Wendy, as my instructional coach, has been invaluable in that process of finding resources and figuring out how can we help one another be the very best instructional environment possible for our kids, and how can we help lift each other up professionally. So we're just gonna keep working on that, and just try to keep building an environment where people wanna come and where wanna learn, and we can send them off in their next chapter, ready to be good citizens. That was a lot of listening for y'all. I apologize. I don't even know how long that was. It was supposed to be 5 to 7 minutes each.
Right on 7.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. We are moving on.
Okay, thank you, administrators.
Yeah.
Okay, so board committee reports. Does anybody have any? I don't either. All right, we're gonna move on to other administrative reports. Did anyone have any questions or comments on any of those?
I had one and it was on the technology report. What is Turnitin?
So that is it's an integrity checker, I guess, if you will, for students that are handing in essays and I guess written work. Basically, it checks for plagiarism, and then also AI has AI integrity checks now too. So in the event that a student were to copy an essay from the internet or use a tool like ChatGPT or Bard to write an essay for them, it basically, through different algorithms and those types of things, checks to see if it's the student's work or if it has flags that would indicate that it's plagiarized.
Okay.
Thank you.
I did see some looks for some high school students when we mentioned the AI
I
detection.
I love it. I just gotta
It's
know how to
wonderful.
use it.
Use it properly.
Move on along. Okay, we're gonna move on to other reports or correspondence. Anything there? Okay, I think we can move on to new business. They should get medals for waiting for the new business. You guys hung in. Okay, Michelle.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk to, I have 4 students on my list that would like a school permit this evening. And what we would like you to do is, we'll just start at the top of my list and work our way down. Just stand up, say who you are, how far you live from school, and why you would like to have a school permit. And Sarah, you're at the top of the list.
I'm Sarah Moreland and I live more than a mile away. And I need a school permit because I'm in multiple extracurricular activities and need a ride there.
Right, thank you. Jennifer, you're next.
Okay, my name's Jennifer Robbins and I live more than a mile away from the school. I need my school permit because I'm involved in extracurricular activities. And I do sports and my parents work, so it's difficult for them to get me to school and home.
All right. Next is Malachi.
My name is Malachi High Note. I do live less than a mile away from the school, but I need my school permit for sports and extracurricular activities like I drum for the jazz choir. So if my sister's sick and she can't drive me, kind of need a ride there if it's because that's in the morning. And my parents probably don't want to be up that early.
And Lucy.
My name is Lucy Vanderlinden. I live a mile and a half away from the school, and I need a permit because though my brother and I are in a lot of the same things, I am in girls soccer and he's not. And I am also part of the high school play this year, and it's kind of hard to get there at 6 and then, kind of my mom zip on over again and take me back home. So.
Great. First of all, you guys should thank whoever's been carting you around for the last 10 years because that's a lot of work. You should all have the form you need to eventually turn into at the treasurer's office in the courthouse for the DOT. We're just going to highlight a couple things on here that I want to make sure you're aware of. It is your responsibility, you and your parents' responsibility to know all of the rules and all of the regulations, but we're just going to highlight a few that are relevant to us. First of all, you're gonna put down some addresses of where you live, or if you have more than one adult you hang out with. You're allowed to drive from your adult's house to school and from school to your adult's house. So if you need to stop and get fuel somewhere along the way, that's okay. But you're one location to the other. So you're not detouring to see who's at A&W or swing by and see where mom is. You're just those two locations. Then you are allowed to drive between 5 in the morning and 10 o'clock at night. So what you want to keep in mind is if you're on an away activity and your bus rolls in at 10:15 in the evening, you're not allowed to drive home at that time. You've got to ride with mom and dad or catch a ride with a buddy. You can drive to school events, but they have to be home events. So you can't drive to Perry or wherever to go to those games. Can stop at the gas station. When you drive, you can carry one other person with you that's not a relative living in your house. So you can bring a friend with you, but your friend has to get in the car with you. You're not gonna stop and pick them up somewhere along the way. They have to be at your house. Get in the vehicle with you. When are you allowed to use your phone while you're driving? Never, never. You know where you're going. So you don't need GPS. Get all your Bluetooth, your tunes, playlist, get that all set up ahead of time before you shift into drive. And then just one other thing you might want to keep in mind is that your parents are giving you, are granting you the ability to apply for a school permit, and we are granting you the privilege of the school permit. So it's not just mom and the cops that can take it away, but we can take it away as well if we get a lot of reports of hot dogging around or irresponsible driving. So it's not just the popo you gotta watch out for. It's lots of eyes on you. Yeah. So before we're done, Bonnie will have to sign. We'll have to sign on that. And we need a motion to approve. Oh, I will make the motion to approve the 4 kids that are applying for a school permit.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Oh, yes, sorry. Dominic. She's still there. Dominic,
Aye, sorry, I'm mute.
Fields. Aye. Fisher.
Aye.
McConnell.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. All right, bring them up and I'll sign them for you guys. And then if you would like to stay, you're welcome to, or if you would like to go home, you're welcome to.
Oh. And you're the longest.
Yeah.
Usually it's only the.
Now, if you want to ever drive on your school permit to a school board meeting, you're welcome to.
I just have to.
We had one kid do it.
What's that?
There you go. Thank you guys.
Oh, they just need a signature for
Yep.
that,
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah.
Good, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, that's good. I'll tell JD I got to see you. Good. Good to see you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Awesome.
You
Good
too.
to see you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
They actually got better since I had mine.
Yeah.
I think I'm also pretty with
There you are. Thank you so much. Okay, then we're gonna continue moving on with fundraising requests.
I had one question on that. We had a resignation from Tori Ogden.
Yep.
And she's also the project leader for some of the.
She didn't resign her coaching.
Okay,
Yeah,
just her.
she's still
Okay.
coaching.
Excellent.
Yeah, she's student teaching. That's fine. Yep.
All
So,
right.
and
All right.
she's in one of those accelerated programs. She went through that teacher registered apprenticeship program. So she is doing they kind of have a goofy term, I guess, because they go in like 6-week terms and they're like rolling terms. So she started, I want to say, was it this Monday? Yep. And then she will actually finish her student teaching like in January, February timeframe. And then we'll actually special.
So we
events.
still have
We do.
Okay.
We sure do.
I also had a question on the girls' basketball. It said there was a bound fundraiser. What is that?
Or that was just the online one. Like, what do they actually
Do
do?
they use the Bound app and somehow, I don't know.
Baseball did something like that.
Right, do they ask for money or, I don't know.
So it's an online fundraiser raising money for girls basketball. Well, that may be one you guys might be able to with additional information, because it's not very specific.
Well, yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. You can use Bound, and I think it's just a way that they can donate money through the school to you. I don't think there's any sale of anything.
Okay, maybe just when you get
Well,
your.
it says it is a 20% goes to the vendor, so if it's a direct donation and it's just a way to collect money, I would rather have them directly put it to the school.
Well, I think what it is Bound team advertising, so they can advertise on Bound. So Bound gets part of it, and then the rest goes to the school. So I think part of why they get money is because I think they help set it up and get it on the Bound app, is what I'm reading here. Yeah, like why give them 20%?
Yeah, if I'm gonna lose 20 cents of every dollar, I'd rather just give you the dollar and not lose 20 cents.
Yeah.
Right, so that one I'm actually personally not comfortable with at this point with the information given.
We can always pull that one out.
Yep, and it looks like, when's our next board meeting, maybe November 13th? So,
I'm reading about it here. It says it's recommended by Mike Mitchell, president of North Mahaska Athletic Boosters. The software and app are both designed very well and access can be tailored to your needs. So apparently it's something that many schools are using.
mhm.
I feel like I've gotten one where it sends emails out to, like it generates the emails. It basically does the work for the kids instead of going
Yeah.
knocking on doors. I think that I don't know, I feel like it's like
It sounds like just a system that they can tap into and utilize probably more efficiently and effectively than, I don't know.
Probably have less fraud that way too, like someone stealing cash, I mean.
Has there been fundraising efforts in the past that have used it? That
I don't know. about
seems
the
like I've
system.
heard of it,
Yeah, I have.
like somebody else might have been using it. Maybe we ought to, I mean, I'd hate to deny them at this point. Maybe it's something we can look into and make sure that it's a bona fide and
Well, we use
legit.
we use
We use
Bound
Bound.
for all of our scheduling and everything like that. We're like exclusively on Bound for everything there. So it's
So is it just the fact that they're taking 20% that we've got concerns about?
Yes.
that's.
But I think of every
that
time I buy a
pie or?
braided bread, they get
Yeah.
50%,
Yeah.
and I don't eat the bread.
Well, right, but I also, I mean, for that type of service, I don't think it's,
Worth 20%.
I don't know. I really don't. And it doesn't look like they're going till the 13th, but is
Well,
that like a 1-day thing?
You know what? Our
I'm
next board
guessing
meeting
not.
is the 13th,
possibly
if pending approval.
I would propose personally, from my standpoint, that we just ask for more information before the 13th of our next potential meeting and then approve it then, since it won't conflict.
Is that a motion then?
Is that in the form of a motion, Cindy?
I would like to make a motion to approve all the presented fundraisers with pulling out the Bound fundraiser for girls basketball with needing further information.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Who was the second?
Michelle.
Okay. Please call the roll.
McConnell.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Fields.
Aye.
Davendick.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. Since Dave Wright is not here, Karen, since you see Tori, would you just reach out to her and say, we want to approve it, we just need more info and a little bit on that? Or you will? Okay. Never mind, Brett's doing it. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next early graduation request. You don't have to. We won't make those seniors stand up like we do the younger ones here. We did have quite a few. Is that normal for this time of year? To have in 10, I
We
feel
have
like it.
we have the deadline, I think it says on the form, I think the
Yeah.
deadline's October or something, so.
Yeah. All of them looked,
They've all met their requirements.
they've all met the requirements and parent approval and nice letters, so. Do we have a motion to approve the early graduation requests that are presented?
I'll move to approve the early graduation request.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second, please call roll.
Davendek,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Fields,
Aye.
McConnell,
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. Well, congratulations to those kids. All right, now we're on to new business, the first reading of some board policies here.
Yeah, so just a couple of things in some of the policies. So for example, looking at 105C, which is anti-bullying harassment investigation procedures, there is a spot in there where it talks about where we want to house this document. If we want to house it, a link on our district website, or if we actually want to house the physical copy in the district office, for example, and just to have a quick discussion on that. My recommendation would be have a link on our district website. It's pretty common practice, rather than having an actual physical paper pencil type copy. So.
I think if there
I
is,
agree, website would be best.
I think if there is a problem, I think you'd be more willing to fill out
Yeah,
more
easy.
online than
Yep.
actually come in and fill out a paper one.
Right. Yep. And then there's one other section there. It's about how many days they have with which to file a concern. It says we just need to state the number of days. They recommend 180, which is essentially 6 months, or that's 180 school days. I mean, it's kind of either or, but it's about 6 months if there's a concern around bullying or harassment. They have 6 months with which to file. Like it's kind of like a statute of limitations, is what I understand it to be.
And you had said that about being the statute of limitation, but I mean, 6 months seems long. I mean, if we let something go on that long, it's like we can't help the situation.
Well, doesn't it just mean that it can be reported anytime after 6 months after the event? Is that
It
what
can
it's
be
saying?
reported within 6 months of the event
Yeah.
happening. Yeah.
Hopefully much sooner.
Right.
So I think what Cindy is saying is that 180 days seems like a very long time removed from when an incident occurred. But maybe shoring
And then
that,
also makes it hard for us to even investigate it at that point.
it could be pretty challenging. Yeah. Sometimes it gets challenging to investigate things within a week.
Yeah,
Honestly,
really.
Is this a recommendation from the School Board Association?
it's just a suggestion that they put on there,
But is there anything statutory as far as this goes? It's up to the districts to decide.
How long do our video like our recordings stay housed?
I don't think we have to release that publicly, do we? I'd rather not.
I mean, I'm just saying that if there is, that could be something to consider if you're trying to come up with a deadline.
Yeah.
I feel like someone who has investigated this recommends 180 days, that's probably.
Yeah, that's from it's a straight copy from IASB, so. All the language and everything in there, so. And 180 days is pretty consistent with what they're recommending. Okay, there's obviously that one, there's no other, I have nothing else for that one.
Are we doing these one at a time?
We don't have to approve them one at a time, but I just think there's a couple of things in there, yep. I don't have something for everything, but 5058 is.
Real quick on the last one, sorry.
No,
Under investigation, Brett, you are the responsible party, correct? Because it says superintendent or designee, but that's you, correct?
If it's, yeah, yes, I'm our district level 1 investigator.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
essentially, if it's unfounded, like if it's unfounded at the school level, or if it's founded at the school level and it requires an additional investigation, then yes, that's me. But if it's at like the school level, it's most likely going to be principals and or counselors.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. With 5058, there's just this section in there about some of the title events under number 6 there. And so really what this is just if you guys want to just name off some of the different events that you went to, if you call them parent engagement events, like you think about the like the muffins in math and things, if you have some other ones that you've been to.
The cookout, the
Okay.
tailgate.
Okay.
Family fun night on October 30th.
Okay.
Is this supposed to be a comprehensive list?
Nope.
Okay.
It's a non-exhaustive list. It's just some examples. I think maybe 4 or 5 examples, which it sounds like we have parent teacher conferences and
Oh, sure.
but it's just how do we involve parents?
Yeah.
And it's just here are some different ways. So that's that. I don't have anything else for that unless you guys do. 6057 is personal use of student-owned laptops or mobile internet devices in school. Had Brent go through and make a lot of really necessary changes that just kind of match just good network use and good network safety. There is one section though that is right, I think it's in section 2. Keep going, scrolling down there, Brent. So the physical security is that we don't actually lock lockers. So instead of saying it should be locked in your school locker, it should be left in your school locker.
Okay.
And then we only have like a very minimal amount of lockers at the high school, but again, we don't lock them. But otherwise, I think Brett's smash up job there on making sure that everything was updated very appropriately. Um, 6053B is just instructions to the reconsideration committee. It was just to match a ISB policy. We just put in a little section there about just making sure that those policies matched. We also and then struck a sentence there that said that a community member will be selected to chair the committee. It's actually not recommended to have a community member chair the instructional materials committee.
Who makes that recommendation?
For
The chair from the community.
so we have community members selected that do it on a volunteer basis. If we ever get into a spot where we're going to review different instructional materials, or if there's a challenge to instructional materials.
So do they choose their own chair then?
So typically the chair would be the superintendent.
Oh, I thought it said that a chair was appointed. And I didn't know who did the appointing.
I think it would be probably within that group, but I think for this particular committee, I believe it's me. And then the last one there was 6053D, which is the reconsideration of instructional materials regulation. There is a section on who can make up the committee. So it's under section B, part 6. We are actually not allowed to include students. So that is the only change there. So we struck that out. The legislation update says we cannot include students.
Even 18-year-olds, no students.
No students. And that is it for those 5.
Then we probably need to switch that it says 8 members. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and say 6 members. It's just another on that same at the top of that where we cross off 2 high school students made up of 8 members. Does that need to be 6?
That would be 6 then, yep.
Is that okay to have 6 instead of 8?
Yeah, I think that.
I mean, we don't have to
Yeah,
raise the
just-
number of other people.
Nope, good catch there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of board policies A, B, C, D, and E in our agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Fisher, oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
Fisher,
Aye.
Fields,
Aye.
Davendek,
Aye.
McConnell.
Aye.
Silva.
Right, next board policy is, we somehow did not have a policy for certified employee evaluation. Mrs. Sandberg caught that when we were uploading some state reports, so that was fun to find out that we did not have that. So this is, again, a direct copy from the IASB. The only nuanced change is that the title of the policy says certified employee evaluation. We were having some issues today with Google trying to get things uploaded to this website correctly. I think Laura did it probably like 3 or 4 times. And it just, whatever didn't upload correctly. The only change here is that instead of saying licensed, it'll say certified just to match the title there.
Oh, and
Is this actually considered a first reading?
This is a first reading, yes.
Okay, it just wasn't under the other one.
Yeah, I pulled it out separately because there's another piece of it that has to be approved separately, which is
Okay.
the method with which we use to evaluate our employees. And so since those were that's a separate item, I wanted to make sure that we pulled that out and had that separate from the others.
Sounds good.
So I'm actually going to ask you to do 2 different motions. One is to approve the policy, and then the second one would be to approve the handbook.
Okay, so do we have a motion for the first reading of the 404.7?
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of 404.7.
Second.
I'll second.
Oh, Cindy, Steve beat you to it, but thank you.
Not a problem.
Okay, please call the roll.
McConnell.
Aye.
Davendek,
Aye.
Fields,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. Okay, now moving on to the professional growth and evaluation handbook.
So I reviewed this with 2 members of our union. It was Sean Thompson and Heath Celine. It was a long time ago. It was on July 13th. We didn't review it for the sake of the policy. We reviewed it so that it was for the sake of transparency in terms of kind of the method and the procedures that we'll use to evaluate all of our certified staff members. At the time, they both agreed. I reshared it with them about a week ago just to say, hey, this is going to be on our board agenda. They expressed no additional concerns or they didn't express concerns to begin with. So this just really, really spells out our process and procedures. It's very long and very detailed, but
Is this a new thing for 23, 24
it is.
for you guys? I mean, it's what. And this is a first reading for this too.
We don't actually have to have a first or a second read for this because
Okay.
it's not a policy. It's just
Just a handbook.
it'd be like in doing any of the handbooks.
I would make a motion to approve the Certified Employee Professional Growth and Evaluation Handbook as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Please call the roll.
McConnell.
Aye.
Fields,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Davendek,
Aye.
Silva.
Aye.
But wait, there's more.
Yep, we have one more board policy. Now, this is just our regular review of a board
It
policy.
is.
I didn't see anything in red. So no changes.
I'd move to approve, board policy 505 through 506.4 as stated.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call roll.
Fields.
Aye.
Dominic.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
McConnell.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. November monthly meeting.
Yeah, so just due to convention, this is pretty standard practice for us to move that meeting to a Monday. So it'd be Monday, November 13th, 2023. Just due to convention. We make a motion on that, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Make a motion that we change the November meeting to Monday, November 13th.
Same time, same place. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Michelle. Okay, please call the roll.
Dominic.
Aye.
McConnell.
Aye.
Fields.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. Okay, convention.
Yep, so this is just kind of just us figuring out who's going to go. We are actually presenting on Thursday, November 16th. And it's the 16th and 17th, it's 2 days. The pre-conference is on the 15th. I don't think we've ever usually went before. I know Cindy will go before for the delegate assembly. But then it'll be the 16th and the 17th. So really it'll just give us an idea of who's going, and so Sean and or Laura can get you registered.
I'm not going.
I'm not going either, but it'd be nice to have the two new members that replace us go, wouldn't it?
I think
So
that's
you-
what we did,
Yes,
like
we
a week
did.
after.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
used at
I know.
convention.
I know Dylan gets voted on. He is planning on going. so.
Well, I hope everybody. would
Yeah,
go. It's
you would
great.
hope
Yeah.
that whoever gets voted on would plan on attending, because it's very valuable
Who
time.
is presenting? I say present.
What's that?
If you get elected.
Presenting.
So
It's a
Bonnie,
blast, Connie.
me, Chris Steele,
Okay.
Tracy Greene, and Hallie Mon.
The crew that went in the spring. Okay, to that one.
We're just
Okay,
taking our.
do you want to know now or just tell you after the meeting?
If you're gonna go.
Yeah,
What's that?
I'm going.
Yeah,
We're going.
and I assume
You're going.
Cindy.
Cindy, are you going?
Yes.
Okay.
And
She'll
then-
say she's going.
Yeah.
Also, Laura, could you please send out the date and time to all the potential new candidates, just so they are aware of it?
Yes, we will.
Thanks.
And Cindy's gonna go the day before, and I might go the day after, if I'm still president, or I'll tell Cindy she should go. Okay.
I don't think we need a motion on that or anything like that.
Okay, and then the last one, we have board goals.
Yep, so we're just putting this back up just as it's more of a transparency piece there, just to to kind of look at our work that we've, that we have out in front of us. I don't have anything that necessarily we're gonna be sharing out, but just our 4 priorities, and then, as our new board members come on, I think it would be worthwhile for us to do another workshop session to maybe identify some, where we're at with some of these goals, and just have a conversation about it. So it's just getting it back up in front of us.
And especially that bottom part in red. I mean,
Yeah, but-
the more detailed
yeah,
parts,
yeah.
I
So I think
think
those
the
priorities.
headers are good.
I think those priorities maintain, and then, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And again, we don't need a motion on any of this. It's just more of a conversation.
And then we are gonna take a recess, but we're gonna need a motion to move into closed session at this time.
So whoever's gonna make the motion to read it. Exactly.
So I would make a motion as per Iowa Code 21.5, parent 1, parent I, to evaluate the professional competency of an individual whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation, and that individual requests a closed session.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Fisher.
Aye.
Dominic.
Aye.
Fields.
Aye.
McConnell. Silva.
Aye. Now Cindy, this is where we'll leave you, but we'll touch base again
Yep.
another time. So thank you for coming. And we're gonna take a 5-minute recess.